Hey York Alliance, thanks so much for tuning in to this video update. This is an exciting time as we round the corner and after 3 months of pretty extreme restrictions, finally starting to feel like we can engage one another face to face. And so we're really excited about that. And the goal of this video update is to let you know how we're going to be doing that, some of the specifics and ways that you can connect over the next several weeks and throughout the summer. So, many of you know this coming Sunday, June 14th, that's our first Sunday with our zone worship gathering. So there's going to be 4 different ways that you can engage in worship. The 3 zone worship gatherings are going to be spread around the county. And so there will be one at John Rudy Park. John Rudy Park is just north of Central York High School, and it will be off of Mundus Race Road. You'll go into the lower lot and park in the paved lower lot. You'll be in the Eastern Hemlock Pavilion at John Rudy Park, and so that will happen at 8:30 and 10:30. We'll be at William Kane Park. William Kane Park is in Jacobus off of Hess Farm Road, and we'll be in the Perch Pavilion, and that'll also be 8:30 and 10:30, but the 8:30 at William Kane Park will be what we're designating a high-risk gathering. So that is for anybody who feels more uncomfortable coming out right now or is more susceptible to the virus. You'll be asked to wear a mask the entire time during that 8:30 gathering, and we'll have some additional sanitary measures in place to keep that as safe as possible. The 10:30 at William Kane will be a normal, typical outdoor gathering. We'll talk about that in just a second. And then finally, the York County 4-H Center, which is just off Stoverstown Road. As you go to West York and make the left turn that takes you towards Spring Grove and Hanover, the 4-H Center is just about a mile down on the left, and you'll be able to go back into a pavilion there. All of those sites will be signed, and you'll be able to kind of follow directions to get into those. And so each of those 3 will be 3 options to gather. And the 4th option is to continue to worship with us via this YouTube stream, the one that you're watching right now. So there'll be a service that will be released at 8:30 every Sunday morning, and you can jump into that. That will feel just like our normal Sunday morning gatherings. It will run just about 90 minutes long. It will have a worship team, live preaching, obviously, as well as announcements and all the updates that need to be a part of that. At the sites, at our 3 zone worship sites, those gatherings will be just an hour long, 60 minutes long each, and we will ask you, if you're in those sites, to follow some specific guidelines. And so those 5 guidelines, you're getting used to seeing these by now, and I'll just run through them quickly, are no touching in any way. So we're asking you not to hug and shake hands and all the things that we want to do during that time. We're going to ask you not to do that for the at least the next season. I'm going to ask you to have a face mask available. They're optional at all of those gatherings except for the 8:30 at William Kane. But we do want to ask you to have it available in all of the county parks. Face masks are required in the bathroom facilities. And if we end up being close for any reason, we want to have those masks available. We are asking children to stay with parents or extended family at all times. That's one of the reasons why we're making these 60-minute gatherings. They're going to be moving quickly, and we're asking you to keep your kids with you. We will have children's activity boxes at each of those sites, and so you'll be able to get coloring pages and colored pencils and activities that kids are able to do during that time. So we're asking the children to stay with parents. Some parents, particularly of younger children, are choosing to have one parent attend the 8:30 and another parent attend the 10:30 in order to make that easier. That's also perfectly acceptable, totally great, and we're glad for you to do that if that's easier for you. Seating, as well as conversation, social engagement. We're asking you to follow social distancing guidelines and remain 6 feet apart, and so we'll have the area spread out and ready for you to be able to engage in that way. And then this last one kind of covers everything. In all cases, whether you are personally concerned or not, would you sacrifice your own desires out of love for the rest of the community? This is a very practical way that we can live out the gospel. Paul tells us that we release things that even are very dear to us, things that we know we have freedom in order to prefer the other and care for the other, show love to those around us. And so we want to do that first for our church community, that we would show love to the people around us, but also for the community around us, for York and the York area, and for the regulations that are in place around our state. We want to honor and respect those, and so we want to ask you to do that. Please, if you come out to those gatherings, be willing to follow those guidelines. If you're not willing to follow those guidelines, we would simply say, now's not the time. There will be time down the line where those guidelines are not in place, and then it'll be time for you to come back. But we would ask you, if you are going to come back to in-person gatherings, that you would follow those guidelines. And we hope that many of you are going to do that. We're really excited to be able to see you this week at one of those gatherings. Each of those gatherings, those zone worship gatherings, will have a live worship leader and live preaching and teaching, so it will feel very much like a Sunday morning gathering from a purpose perspective. There just won't be all of the extras that are typically a part of that. And the way that we're going to manage that is a new feature that's going to be launching this week, if all goes well, called York Alliance Weekly. York Alliance Weekly is going to be a short video magazine that gives us all kinds of updates, from announcements to connections with missionaries, to faith stories, to ways that God's working in our local and global community. And so we're excited about that. I'm so thankful for Kira Smith, who's heading that up and doing a bunch of work in that. And we're excited to be able to keep one another up to date during that time. And so please check that out. That's going to be launching this week as well, and we're excited for you to be able to see that. Also for this week, we will be celebrating communion at all of these sites. So that means 6 zone worship gatherings, as well as our streamed gathering. We'll celebrate communion. So if you're staying home for whatever reason, right now there's some rain forecast for Sunday morning. It doesn't look like it's going to be bad rain, and so we'll just be in the pavilions even if it's raining. But if you decide to stay home, whether because of weather or because you're just not ready to come out yet because of being a higher risk person, whatever the case may be, we would ask that you would have your communion elements there with you. We would love to be able to celebrate in person. That's why we've waited until the 14th to celebrate. But if you're not able to do that for whatever reason, would you just get some bread and juice, something that would be representative? I like to say that whether it's bread and juice or Coke and cornbread, God is good with it. So would you bring elements and be ready to engage the Lord's Supper as we do that together? I want to invite you, just as a way of looking at this season, to think in terms of mission and outreach. We're going to continue to evaluate what we're doing throughout the summer. In fact, I met with the elders yesterday, and we've set markers throughout the summer to evaluate what's happening, how it's working, and ways to improve the way that we connect with one another. But I truly believe this is a moment where mission and outreach can really take center stage. Jesus said to go into all the world and make disciples, and his promise is he will be with us always to the end of the age. And I believe that he's with us in a really special way as we reach out to the world around us. Can I just be frank with you? Your friends and neighbors who are not committed to a church fellowship right now are not coming inside a church building anytime soon. They recognize, as we all recognize, that as long as the virus is out there and there's not a good vaccine or a good treatment, being in a closed space with a large number of people for an extended period of time is not the ideal. And so while we are working at ways to be able to do that as safely as we possibly can, people who are not already committed to Jesus and not already committed to the church will have a very difficult time making that step. This is an opportunity for you to invite your friends into the community of faith, into the declaration of the word, the worship of Jesus, and the way that the community of faith operates in an environment that's safe and feels comfortable for them as well as for you. And so rather than rushing back into a church building, this is an opportunity for us to really prioritize those who need to know Jesus and be able to take the message of Jesus to them. And so would you consider invite friends and neighbors, talk to those who are around you, and if they don't already have a church fellowship, this is a great opportunity to introduce them to both the gospel of Jesus and the fellowship of York Alliance. And so let me encourage you to take part in that. And let me also, along with that, tag our children's ministry and the incredible work that they're doing as Rocky Railway launches this summer. There's a cool opportunity that you and I have to invite our neighbors, kids all around us, to be able to engage in what is a fun and exciting education and activity-oriented adventure that will happen over the course of the summer. So if you have friends and neighbors who can join your kids, if your kids are jumping in, or even if you are past that age and you just want to invite neighbor kids in, this is a great opportunity to, in kind of backyard Bible club style, invite kids into your home or to your back porch or your back patio to watch our York Alliance teachers and those who are gifted to teach kids engage by video. And then there are tons of great activities that Beth Wharton is putting together. If you just let Beth know that you have additional people coming or may have additional people coming, she would love to send supplies out your way to make sure that you're ready to go. And so 2 really great outreach opportunities, both for adults as well as for kids during this season. So can I encourage you? This is a moment that God has given to us to reach out with the hope of Jesus to the world around us. So don't let it pass by. Let's really take advantage of the moment that God's given to us. If you have any questions at all and you just need to clarify whether it's how to get to a location or where it is or something at a bigger picture level, we'd love to hear that. And so would you shoot a message, questions@yorkalliance.org, questions@yorkalliance.org. I would love to be able to get in touch with you and be able to interact around all of those things. We're so excited about this weekend. I can't wait to see some of you at the park that I will be at. And I'll be moving around throughout the summer, as a lot of our teachers and worship leaders will. And so I'm hoping that I'll get to see all of you over the course of the summer. So hopefully I'll see you Sunday morning. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and it will be a joy to be able to worship together on Sunday. Grace and peace to you.